Are you thinking about renting or buying next year? So many of you that have reached out to me have been asking this question lately, and really it depends on your personal situation. But in today's video, I'm going to be covering some things to think about if you are thinking about renting or if you are thinking about buying. And hopefully at the end of the video, as always, you have some more information that you can then do your own due diligence to figure out whether or not now's the time for you to buy, or do you set up a game plan for the future to be able to purchase? My name's Seanu Uyehara. I'm a branch manager with Loan Depot, helping you finance your homes all across the country. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, I created this channel to simplify home ownership and help you understand what's the best thing to do with your mortgage. Now, if you ever have questions, you can always email me your specific scenario, whether it's a purchase or refinance, and we'll give you a free no-cost analysis to make sure that you are getting the best deal out there. Renting versus buying. This is a hot topic right now, and you have two camps of people. One that believe that the market's going to crash, so you're probably going to rent in hopes that the market comes down another 30% or so, and then maybe you get back into the game, or maybe you think that interest rates are going to drop to the 3% range, and you're going to take advantage of low rates once again. And there's the other side that believe in home ownership. I'm of the camp that I believe in home ownership in any market. If you can afford to buy a house, I think you should buy a house. It served me well. It served my clients well. And I'm a true believer in the long-term vision of owning property. However, not everybody can qualify for a house today, and I totally understand that. And I think it's a bigger problem that's becoming more and more prevalent with hedge funds and banks and Wall Street companies and just big companies getting into single family residential real estate. I think they're trying to push people out. I think they're trying to take away the American dream of owning homes. So that's why I'm a big advocate for home ownership, because if you can't get into it today, I don't think there's going to be opportunities down the road because the banks and everyone else is getting their filthy hands into the mix. So if you decide to rent right now, some of the news that I'm seeing right now is that people are projecting rents to come down next year. You can even see on this link to Zillow's website right here, they are projecting a slight decrease. And when I say slight decrease, I mean 0.1%. So not a huge amount, but the sexy headlines will probably get you to think that the rental market is probably working out in your favor. But let's go through this article a little bit more and then kind of see for ourselves, what are they really talking about? So according to Zillow, they had noted in this article that in February of 2022, rents had peaked at a 17.2% year-over-year appreciation. That's massive. Now, the real estate market was seeing the same thing. So many people, especially our clients locally here in Las Vegas, I heard some horror stories of clients where their rents went up $500, $1,000 a month. We have no rent caps here in Las Vegas, so of course landlords could do whatever they wanted with their rents. They had the demand to do it, and they got the money that they deserved. You know, when you look at not being able to increase your rents during COVID, because as a landlord myself, we were just happy that our tenants were paying the rent. But the minute you could increase your rents, you absolutely were doing so. But now you're seeing some of that cool off. And again, some of these headlines might make it seem worse than really what it is, but even a 1% decrease is not that significant of an amount. However, because interest rates on mortgages more than doubled from January of this year, it has put buying a house out of touch for many middle-class home buyers out there today. And this is why I don't think there's ever really a perfect time or a good time to buy a house, because if there was, everyone should have bought a house in 2011. Because that's when the bottom of the market was around. But how many of you sat on the sidelines because of what the media was saying, or you just weren't ready, right? Or you even think about last year when rates were in the 2s and 3s, and how many of you still sat on the sidelines and didn't buy a house? I remember conversations with clients that said, I think rates are going to go to 1%. I want rates to go under 1%. Then I'm going to buy. And you're probably looking at 6% rates today. So I think you have to really diffuse the noise. You have to get rid of all that stuff on social media, anything that you're reading, and you have to really understand, what does your scenario look like? Talk to a loan officer, figure that out. Because if buying a house is truly out of the grasp for you right now, then what do you need to do to get there? You have to really understand what that game plan is. It's like going to the gym. I may want a six-pack all day long, but if I don't have the right diet, and if I don't actually work out and work towards my goal, I'll never get there. I may eventually get there over time, but I'm not in college anymore and I don't have the metabolism that I used to have. So I got to work extra hard to get there. So if you made some mistakes with your credit, or maybe you're not saving up as much money, you got to work extra hard if you really want to buy a house, or you're going to continue to rent probably for the rest of your life. Because the more and more of these hedge funds and these big banks and corporations get into the single family residential real estate market, they are buying up opportunities that you should have had as a homeowner. So again, I'm not doing this video to convince you one way or the other. You have to understand the bigger game that's being played. Because in 10 years from now, if you think you're going to outsmart Chase, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, and some of these other hedge funds thinking that you're going to time the market, these guys have billions of dollars and they are buying anything and everything that fits in their buy box, which is usually homes that you and I would probably want to buy. Now we look at this chart here on Zillow, you can see that the most expensive market in San Jose for their rent was $3,300. New York, $3,200. San Francisco, $3,100. And then you start to look at places like Las Vegas, Nevada. We were at about $1,800, which is an increase of about 1.6%, or a month over month decrease right under 2%. So just a slight smidge. Things are coming down. If you decide to rent, the one thing that I would tell you to do is start saving. Start saving your money, start paying off your debt, start getting rid of all the other expenses that you don't need, because you need to put yourself in a good position to take advantage of the market. Because when things shift, and we all know they're going to shift, whether that's prices coming down, and let's just play devil's advocate today and say the market does come down 40%. If the market comes down 40%, are you going to be ready to buy? That $10,000 that you have saved is nothing, because there's investors that are out there that have millions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of dollars at the very least that will get into the game, which will then again create a bidding war, which means you need to have more ammo to come to the fight. Be ready for that opportunity, or else you're going to miss it again, because you probably missed it in 2011 and you probably missed it last year too. So what's going to be the next excuse if you're not ready? These are things you got to prepare for, or else again, you will miss the boat. So even if you had to move back home with your parents, that's fine. Start saving up money. So if you are paying rent, another hack that you can do to get yourself ready for a mortgage is, let's just say you want to pay $2,500 a month in a mortgage, but maybe you found a place that you can rent for $2,000 a month right now. Put that extra $500 that you would have normally paid towards maybe the mortgage that you want, put that into a savings account. Put that money to the side so you don't know it exists, and you're getting yourself comfortable making that payment every single month, because then when things shift and you are ready to buy, you've been making that $2,500 a month payment for the last year or so, and now you're a lot more comfortable doing that. So you can play these little tricks and games to prepare yourself mentally and financially, so that way you can be ready to purchase when the market comes. I don't think renting is that bad of a thing. I'm not a huge fan of it, but if you don't have a choice right now and renting is going to be your only option, I would say make sure that you are putting yourself in a position so you can buy down the road. Don't just rent for the sake of renting. Don't just move back home with your parents to not pay rent, to mooch off your parents. In fact, here's an article right here from the Robb Report that states that more millennials and more Gen Z folks have moved in with their parents and they're not paying rent. And now what they're doing with their disposable income is they're buying luxury items. And you can see here on the front and center of this article, you got Gucci. So all of you that are potentially living at home, don't make this mistake. Don't go and buy the Gucci belt, the Louis Vuitton shoes, or the bag, or you're going out and leasing a brand new Mercedes. Stay disciplined. Pay off your debt. If you have student loans, pay those things off. If you have credit cards, get them down to zero, because if you squander the opportunity of living at home and then you're just going out to go buy nice stuff, I mean, there's no point in flexing when you're living at home with your parents. You got to start getting disciplined. And like I described about going to the gym, if you want to get fit, you want to take your health serious, you have to get disciplined with your diet. You have to get disciplined with going to the gym. It's the same thing with buying a house. Things are tougher today because of inflation. Things are tougher because interest rates have gone up. That doesn't mean that it's impossible. It means you got to work a little harder to make it happen. Now, the people that do make it happen, there's always going to be opportunity for everybody that does that. And I'm a believer of that mindset. In any market, you can be successful. In any market, there will be abundance. But what are you believing in? Now, if we were to just hop on Zillow's website and just look up rentals in the area, this will give us a good idea of what the market is looking like right now. So let's just take this home here in Southern Highlands. Oh, look at that. Progress Residential. If you guys don't know about Progress Residential, I talked about them in a few videos ago, so make sure you go check out that video. Progress Residential is another massive corporation that is buying up residential real estate and renting them out. And look at that. They've got this house for rent. The problem with these companies is that they come into cities like Vegas and a few others across the country. You can go to their website and you can actually look to see what markets they're in. They're buying up as many homes as they can. And the problem then becomes, if you own enough inventory in a certain market, you get to influence the rental market there as well. So this is the problem with a lot of these companies that come in, because they're buying up a ton of properties. And now if they want to jack the rent up, they can do that, because if I own thousands and thousands of other properties out there, I control the messaging and I control the market. So they're charging $3,100 for this house in Southern Highlands. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet. So let's just say if we were to try to buy a house, what would that look like? Again, let's look in the Las Vegas market in Southern Highlands. All right, so we found a house here in Southern Highlands that's pretty comparable to the rental. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's 1,590 square feet, okay? There's a $25,000 price reduction, and this is why I think right now it's a good time to buy, because sellers are getting desperate. They're going to negotiate with you. This house has been on the market 50 days, according to Zillow, and they're already dropping their price. So again, $25,000 reduction. Now let's take a look at what would a rough payment be on this house. So if we go down to Zillow's calculator, they are estimating a 20% down payment, but let's just say, what if we go with FHA financing, which is only 3.5% down. So if you're looking at a $395,000 purchase price, that down payment is only $13,000, okay? Now, again, comparative, if you were to rent a house for $3,000, they're probably asking you for your first month's rent, last month's rent, and maybe even a security deposit. So if you did $3,000, and your security deposit, what if it's the same $3,000? You're in this rental probably for $9,000 or $10,000 potentially upfront just to move in. So if you need $13,000 to purchase, and let's just say our interest rate today is 6.75%, assuming you've got great credit, mortgage insurance, property taxes, homeowners insurance, and your HOA, your total monthly payment is going to be about $32.95. And again, for rent, we are at $31.30. So of a difference of about $100 a month, little over $100, you could own a home versus renting. Now, again, there's caveats to this, because what if you don't have the down payment, or maybe what if your credit's not good enough to buy? So again, maybe you do have to rent, which is okay, but work on the things that you need to work on so you can become a buyer. Don't just give up because someone says that you can't buy a house today. That's one of the most silliest things anybody could do, because there's always a solution to the problem. However, if you've got the credit, or maybe you can qualify for a down payment assistance program. In every city across the country, there are programs and grants available to become a homeowner. But you could literally own this house with a 3.5% down payment for $3,200 a month. Similar to what you'd be paying for rent. Why would you not own? But the thing is this, these numbers may not work in your city. What you need to do is take the information that you might be reading or seeing on the national level, talk to a local expert realtor that can give you this data as far as how much rents are going for, or if you're thinking about buying, talk to a loan officer. Just because you talk to a lender, that doesn't obligate you to buy a house, because you need to run these numbers for yourself to look at how much does it truly cost for rent and how much does it truly cost to own. I know the benefits of owning in the long term far outweigh the gains of renting in the long term as well, because most of us, and this is a sad thing, as Americans, we are not good at saving money. This is why we have record high credit card debt right now, and this is why most people do not have savings. So if you don't have the ability to save, how are you going to ever retire down the road? How are you ever going to pass anything on to your children? How will your children ever own a house 20, 30 years from now? So if you can be the one to make a change for your family, and it's by you sacrificing and maybe being a little more disciplined with your spending, I think that benefit down the road is far worth it to become a homeowner, despite what anybody's going to say right now. because I know in 20, 30 years from now, when I have 30, 40, 50 houses that are paid off and that goes to my daughter, she will have absolutely nothing to worry about. And that's what my goal is. That's my vision. And I hope you are thinking about the bigger picture and not getting so focused on today, because the short-sightedness could hurt you down the road. And if you are ready to put together a custom plan so you can become successful in the market, send me an email. I'd be happy to work with you and show you the ways of how we can get you into home ownership, and so you can become a winner too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.